Alright friends, welcome back to Tactical Enlightenment. You're watching another episode of our Expert Tactics series, showing some of the most difficult battles I've faced in my campaign, and then deploying complicated and unique tactics to overcome these formidable challenges. Alright friends, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment, your YouTube channel dedicated to helping you with Bannerlord getting better through the use of tactics in field command. And again, we have another titanic battle brewing here as the enemy continues to close in on our frontiers on all different sides. In this case, we did have a foray into the southwest where we were able to take some territory, gain some castles, even gained a city. But now we're dealing with an excessively large force of almost 4,000 troops here at one of our, sieging one of our castles. The advantage I have in this battle early on is I recognize the landscape here. First, of course, I want to show you the situation here. Epicrotia's under siege. Things have gotten very difficult. Basically, we're forced to attack people before we're ready. And what I mean by ready is I haven't gathered enough troops necessarily to really take on this force. You can see most of our troops are in pretty good shape. But this is still going to be an extremely difficult battle here, outnumbered about 3-1. Also, I want to show player damage. We are going to play this battle, even though it's against 4,000 troops, with normal player damage. Both at the request of some players, and also I'm starting to do this a little bit more and more as I get more comfortable with it. We'll spread some of our heroes out over our different groups, and then we'll take a look at this landscape. So this is the landscape I was referring to. I've fought on this map before. You've probably seen it before. This is one of the few cases where I advocate the use of the low ground, or in other words, giving up the high ground, right? We are not going to try to get to elevation here. I've got one infantryman. We're not going to try to get elevation on our opponent. We're actually going to effectively sit down in this bowl in a defensive manner and allow them to come to us, right? We're going to use the fact that they have to come over this ridge to attack us to our advantage. It's a little bit weak on the right, you can see here. It's a little more open. And so to counter that, we're going to put more of our troops towards the left, right? We're going to try to essentially funnel the enemy towards the part of this that's more defendable. So I've got one cavalry unit already in a square, and the other one in a shield wall, which we will probably move into this void here. Yes, that's going to work well. I can move them right into this sort of void, and what I mean by void, area where the enemy can sort of stream in and attack us on level playing field, and a level they'll be able to get good archer shots from that location. Paramount to this strategy is going to be preventing the enemy for as long as we can from gaining a foothold on the top of this little ridge here, where their archers and units that are shooting crossbowmen, etc., can fire down at us. We got a little skirmish here with some horse archers. But at some point or other, our goal is to drag the enemy over this ridge and then have them get absolutely worked over by our archers and our javelins as they try to approach us. You can see this Calvary Screen here is doing beautifully. The enemy is just magnetized to it, and we'll be able to come in here and pick guys off. And of course, we've got other units that we can have attack them while they're sort of pinned up here. I see the enemy is breaking through with some cavalry down there, so we will open fire. I don't always mention that at the beginning of long battles. I almost always hold fire. This is just barely enough cavalry to shoot at. What I mean is if there's 50 or 100 cavalry down here, we're definitely going to attack. But if it's 7, 8, 9 guys, a lot of times I'll hold fire. I just don't want 300 arrows hitting every single guy and our archers running out of ammunition before, the critical points of this battle. So I'm watching this ridge. I'm attacking their horse archers here. They've got basically, they outnumber us in every single area, right? They have quadruple the amount of horse archers we have, maybe more than that. But you see they're getting bottled up nicely on our cavalry screen. These guys are all trying to retreat, and they're getting their arms and limbs cut off as they try to get out of here, right? So the cavalry screen not only prevents guys from tearing in and charging in large numbers, but it also helps with retreating horse archers. In some battles, you will actually see me aim the screen, like put it directly in front of where the horse archers are retreating, and this is a really good way to slow them down, come to grips with them in melee, and then slash the shit out of them with your cavalry. So that screen is doing well there. Their infantry is starting to come towards us, and that's the bigger threat. So we're going to move this cavalry square. This is our second corps, kind of right to the center here. We want them distracted. You see our archers just firing away up there. What we want is when that enemy infantry comes down, oh, this is interesting. They're not taking the approach I thought they would. So we're going to move back. I thought they would come down the center. Actually, they're just in a huge wide arc here. So I moved the 3rd Cavalry back. Now we can do some ranged work on these guys. And again, I'm hoping those 2 different cavalry divisions, they're effectively, in this case, they're defensive. This way we can pound their units as they come down sort of divided. They're attacking. I can see them attacking the square, right? And that means they're not attacking us, right? That's the most critical part here. Not attacking our critical light skirmishers, 8th Corps, which is my elite troops, and of course our archers are back here. There's got to be at least 50 or 60 Britannian Fiend champs just hammering the ridge. Now this is a problem. Their archers are already on the ridge, and they've got a foothold. This is actually what I said couldn't happen in this battle. So we're going to try to adjust. I just charged with my cavalry. We're going to try to basically push them off of that ridge. They're getting pounded by arrows, but I can't have the enemy setting up 150 archers like that raining down on us. Because if that happens, obviously the entire idea behind this tactic, behind our setup here, is foiled, right? We have to be able to control that edge and shoot enemies as they come over it. If they start to bully us in this valley, it's going to be very difficult to win this battle. It's got some stubborn infantry coming in here. You can see my cavalry is just now at the ridge, and they're getting shot at up there, but the key is, at least for the time being, a lot of their archers are pushed back. That said, the enemy's actually acting very smartly here. Both their infantry and their archers are coming down in widespread areas. Not only does that help them absorb or not get hit by arrows left and right. Oh shit, I got horses flying over the top of me. But it also, obviously, it allows them to attack in a wider arch and effectively negate some of our attempts to flank them. So I'm waiting in here now with our cavalry. Again, this remains too big of a threat to ignore. I've got to get the enemy off of this ridge with their archers, or else we're just going to have to slug it out here. So the screen is very good, right? You want to pay attention in big battles to this, to that upper right screen. And as soon as I said that, it went bad. I think I overextended some of my cavalry. See, because I put them on top of the ridge and had them attack, some of them undoubtedly ran right into the midst of, you know, huge amount of enemy forces. They got ganged up on and killed in large numbers. God, this is a ferocious enemy. There are just guys everywhere. You see their archers. Oh, I just took a slug too. My horse died. This is already turning into a grim affair here today. Sometimes your best laid plans get beat up, right? And Mike Tyson said everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Well, my horse is dead. A lot of my infantry are dead. The archers are still standing, but they're definitely they're dealing with this strategy today better than I thought and better than I've experienced in previous battles. They've got a huge slug of troops coming down, including heavy horse. And my reinforcements, at least so far, have not arrived. My reinforcements, of course, will come in a little bit behind us, maybe to our right or to our left. I'll have to keep an eye out for them. But at this stage, this is turning into a disaster. We show almost all interesting battles on Tactical Enlightenment. Very early on, I was encouraged to show losses by a friend of mine, and we're going to do so. So if this ends up going poorly for us, you're going to be able to watch that. I think that adds a layer of suspense for people who are watching both the campaign to see how I can do, but also people watching just individual battles. It can play out a little bit more like a movie. Although, unfortunately, with a lot of movies these days, the good guy wins every time, and they can be a little dry because of that, right? Superhero doesn't always win in real life. All right, so in we go here. We're wading in. We're facing both a heavy infantry shock line, and they have archers raining down on us. The only good thing that's going on right now is our archers are shooting up still. I still see arrows flying up to the hill, and we do have a very strong line of infantry here that's meeting their infantry, right? It's basically, we're in an all-out war in this battle. Oftentimes when battles are chaotic like this, you can have the tendency as a commander, as a field commander, to just zone out, right? And just enter attack mode I find myself guilty of this a lot as well. So a lot of times what I'll do to help with that is I'll pull my shield out and basically just run around for 20 seconds. You don't have to be killing people the whole battle to succeed if you're acting well as a commander. So I'll pull my shield out. I like to get a shield early on. I don't come into battle with the shield, so I'll grab the enemy's shield. And then from there, I can make command decisions. Like, we're going to send our infantry division up here. We're going to come to grips with these archers. They're going to take some losses on the way, but some of those guys have shields. And once they're in there, then I give them the charge command, right? So I move them to the enemy, and then I tell them to attack. And I'm going to wade in with them here because they don't have many guys. It's like 20 or 30 infantry trying to take on these spread out archers. And these are tough archers. These are sword sisters. For people who don't know, that's one of the mercenary units that has very tough fighting skills. And of course the hired crossbow, some of their other tier 4, tier 5 archers are up here. And they're continuing to spread out. I mean, they really are acting very, very well here from an AI perspective. You see they have this ridge just kind of spread with archers. I couldn't do it much better myself. That said, our archers are shooting them in the face. We're cutting their limbs off 2 at a time. And this is a perfect opportunity for me to just rampage. Because they're spread out, I can kind of fight one enemy at a time. And by the time the next guy comes up to help his buddy, the only thing he sees is a blur, my axe cleaving through the air, and his friend arm laying like in his lap, right? These guys are just slaughtered. It works very well against approaching troops. But of course, once you get some high-powered infantry against spread archers, well, you see the result. I'm trying to figure out what I have here. So a lot of times in battles like this, when you get the reinforcements coming in, you have to kind of assess what you have. The reinforcement system is far from perfect. It kind of drops the troops in different new groups. Sometimes that's necessary because it doesn't want to drop like your infantry next to your in with your archers, etc. So these motherfuckers are flanking with archers. It almost feels like I'm fighting a human opponent in this battle. So we're going to get an infantry line up here to try to counter their archers. On the knoll again, they're pouring both cavalry and archers down on us. It really is excellent strategy so far by the computer, by the AI. Sometimes you see incredibly dumb things, and sometimes you see extraordinarily smart things. The good thing is these are lower level cavalry, and you notice I dismounted. That's because I actually find myself more effective against this type of cavalry, just wailing away with my axe. You killed their horses. I cut through their shields faster this way. I do more damage per second with the axe than I do with the polearm. Of course, the polearm is longer, right? But I can get right in the face of these horses. They're kind of jammed up here on the ridge, and I can just turn this whole fucking slope to glue. Well, this guy here, fucking stubborn, blocking every shot. Normally, I don't allow an opponent to block that many times. If you get a really stubborn opponent, either kick him or just go fight somebody else. Sometimes, your melee opponent will just hold his shield up and just defend and defend and defend. Well, that's time. That's precious time that's lost if you're in battle like me with my melee. I've got a mess here. These infantry are mixed with archers. I mean, I don't have a ridge to back up to. We're just going to have to slug it out with some of these units until a more obvious opportunity presents itself. I can back some of these archers over this hill just so they don't... they're just getting withering fire from the archers. The enemy now has a large bank of archers here, so we're just going to flat out charge. We don't have much choice. This battle is definitely teetering on a loss at this stage. I haven't been routed in a battle. In other words, I haven't been crushed in a battle in a very long time. But this feels routish. Of course, if I kill half their guys, that helps. And fuckers, fucking just cut through all of them myself. But still, they have archers down here spread out. They're pounding us. What I need reinforcements that I can just send a wave of infantry right through this. Where the fuck are my reinforcements? They're coming in way over there. Okay, so I have archers and infantry. So I'm going to spread the archers out. Oh, it's infantry. See, part of the problem is I have archers mixed with infantry. So my units, it's hard to tell which is which. So we're going to send our infantry right into the mass of the enemy archers. I know they're spread, but I'm just hoping my guys can get up there and come to grips with them in melee. Because if we can start fighting hand-to-hand with these archers, right, just like me with my axe here, you can carve a path through them pretty quick. Most archers are very lightly armored. They have poor melee skills. I love that animation. Yeah, here we go. Here's a nice, yeah, so these are our infantry, and they're pouring in, but they're, almost as soon as I said it, the enemy cavalry comes pouring in on us. It feels like an avalanche of enemies down this hill. Again, their archers are right on that ridge up there. I'm going to continue to try to address that, so we're sending our infantry up now in shield wall. And this is basically a failed tactic on some level, right? This is a tactic that ordinarily works beautifully. It worked really well the first several minutes, but now that the enemy has that ridge, it's much more problematic. That said, one advantage we have, because we put on such an ass whipping with their first two waves, they are now down to middle tier troops. These guys are not their elite cavalry. I actually see some tier 3 cav in there as well, so we're borderlining on their weak cavalry at this stage, like weaker troops. So when I send my infantry up that hillside, I saw a lot of green and a little bit of red, mostly allied, killing enemy deaths. Well, that's because they're higher level troops, right? Most of our troops, most of our high level troops are still alive, while the enemy lost almost all of theirs in the first couple assaults. I'm just carving a path through. I haven't fought this much in a battle in quite a while. A lot of battles I have a little bit more time to ride my horse around, kind of check out the surroundings. But this has been just a furious, very challenging battle from the get-go. We can get archers spread, we can get infantry sent to the face of this cavalry, but with only 3 divisions to choose from, it's not like the game is giving us a huge amount of tactical ammunition. Yeah, it's just a wave of cavalry too. The whole hillside is swarming. It looked like we kicked a hornet's nest and out came cavalry. I can't remember how many troops we attacked with. I want to say we had 14 or 1500. We're probably down half that. So at this stage, this battle is up for grabs. And see if I can't pull off a few tactical trips. See if we have any other tactical tricks in our bag here to pull this battle off. So I'm spreading archers out, and we're getting infantry set to the base of this, because at least I want to be able to protect our archers from cav. It's just a swarm of cavalry over there. I like to show battles where things don't go well, because that's going to happen to you. Your best laid plans. This is not a brilliant tactical approach so far to this, but we're dealing with a difficult situation here, and sometimes you just have to persevere. So at least these archers are pounding that ridge, right? That's key. The infantry's holding back a lot of troops. That's keeping these archers shooting freely, and these archers are just pounding that ridge with ammunition. This is the idea behind the strategy. Right now, they had archers up there earlier and infantry amongst our archers. That makes it a lot harder, but in this case, this infantry line has really confused the enemy, held them up on this hill, and now it's working beautifully. The Peekaboo Ridge here, whereas the enemy was acting brilliant for the first 5 or 10 minutes of the battle, now it's acting like a total dipshit again, and just piling troops up there for us to just shoot at with our archers. We've got a few horses, few cav here running through our archers, but it's not enough to sustain and stop their arrow barrage. I mean, just look at the ammunition flying up on that ridge. These guys are just letting loose hell. The enemy does have archers up there, so now we're going to push right into these fucks. You see how I'm positioning my infantry past the archers. Now what'll happen is my guys will run there, even at the expense of getting the enemy behind them, but that's where me and the 8th Division, whatever of these elite troops that are left, can clear house. Right? These troops that kind of fall through the cracks, so to speak. Our infantry's marching uphill. They look like fucking badasses just charging up this hill, right, to get into the face of the enemy archers. And while that's happening, any of the infantry that sort of fall behind, that sort of get behind our infantry, we're attacking those guys, right? We're attacking them with other troops. And that archer division just got absolutely smoked by that approach. All right, so we've regained the ridge. The ridge is completely ours now, but I don't want to go over just yet. You see all their troops down there, all their archers. If we just pour into that, we're going to be the ones that have problems, right? So let's try to take an approach to the side. if we come straight over this ridge, right, you understand, I think you can understand the strategy. The enemy's going to be the ones shooting. Look at this fuck shooting at us. The enemy's going to be the ones shooting at us instead. Somebody kill this fucking archer. This guy. Fucking dipshit. So what we're going to do here is we're going to try to approach this enemy from the side. Okay, look at their flanking as well. I've got my infantry moved though. And now, when we open fire here, we're going to have a nice angle to shoot on these guys. You see my archers are spreading out to the side there. My infantry can hold this line here. I don't know if I have enough time. It's going to be interesting. I'm shielding also with cavalry, trying to get my archers spread over here to the side so that the infantry can hold. That's a fuckload of infantry. I don't know if it's going to be able to hold. And what I can do then is these archers now have flanking fire. God, the enemy has a huge amount of archers too, and this is of course one of the problems you face when you're fighting 3 times your number. Is whatever you try, you know you're facing tremendous difficult challenges no matter what. They're the ones actually firing lots of arrows in at us. Our infantry line kind of melted away there. There's a handful of guys I can see that are still alive, but they're dying in droves. And now again we're in a scrum. You get pushed back. I don't see any reinforcements. Your reinforcements come when you have about maybe 60%, 50 or 60% of what your original amount was when the battle started. So if we started with, say, 300, you know, then we're going to get troops when we're down to about 180, somewhere in that range. And there are these very difficult moments that you will learn as a commander where you're in between waves, so to speak. You have too few troops to really attack the enemy, but not enough for the system to give you reinforcements. It's obviously far from a perfect system. And when that happens, you're basically just trying to hold on for dear life. You can see us getting hemmed in here. The enemy's virtually surrounding our little force. And at this point, we're just praying for reinforcements. I'm certain we have more reinforcements. It's just a matter of them arriving and where they're going to arrive. They should be coming in behind us here. They came in across the ridge there. All right, let's see if we can use this. You just got to adapt, folks. So what we're going to do is I'm going to drag this infantry towards me. They're already approaching now. I want to effectively try to sandwich this enemy between us. It's a huge sandwich, right? This is like 4 inches of bread and tiny little thin loaves of bread trying to hold together that meat. But we're going to try to basically attack the enemy from both of these sides. So I've got infantry on the other side attacking. I've got a cav line here kind of holding things up. There's a handful of infantry left here, these brave infantry that are holding. And then on the other side, that infantry is full charge. At this stage, though, they also look surrounded. Like every once in a while, I get a clean glance, and the enemy is thick over there, too. They have archers over there. Hey, get on a horse here. Maybe I can get a little better feel of the battle from the horse. Again, one of the advantages that we're definitely taking advantage of is we have much stronger troops, right? I see the names of our troops are tier 4 type units, and they're killing tier 2 type units. Well, in that situation, you can kill 2 or 3 enemies for every one of yours, even when you're outnumbered. They're trying to cause a little carnage with their archers here. I'm down to an absolute sliver of life. I mean, 1 arrow drops me at this stage. I decided to play, this battle in this mode, this sort of purist mode. Down he goes, because a lot of players do want to see, me play out battles with the same health that they're probably playing with normal player damage. But they're also, I've got reinforcements over the ridge here. The people who are requesting that, I'm gonna imagine they're not facing 4,000 enemies when they're fighting in battles like this. So I'm going to start doing a little mix. I'll probably do normal damage for anything less than 2,500, maybe 3,000 troops, which is already a challenge, right? Wait till you have your first battle against 2,000 troops and see if you can run normal player damage and survive. Very difficult. At this stage, I can see we've probably won the battle. I've got a strong infantry line there just pouring in, but most importantly, I see that the enemy has, guys with farming implements, right? These are their serfs, and we still have decent troops plowing right through them. So very difficult battle, very ugly battle. The point of that, though, let me finish my point, is that in really huge battles, and I have even larger battles than this, we'll probably run at half damage to the main hero, and maybe even quarter on occasion. Okay, it's good. It's all the enemy nobles dying. Obviously, we're victorious. At this stage of the campaign, we have to be victorious. We're in a very precarious spot. We are facing larger and larger enemies, and in many cases, just like this battle, we're actually facing more than one enemy attacking the same target. This is probably not going to happen in your campaign unless you play it very, very late like I have here, but it just goes to show how difficult things have gotten in our campaign. Win or lose, though, we're going to talk tactics, show giant battles, and probably have a lot of fun. So thanks for watching. I'll see you friends next time.